Hello everyone, this is Brandon from Crimson Crescent Moon Reviews, back here again with another review of Undead Unluck, chapter number 71, titled To Love. Yeah, it's, just get right into it, shall we? The chapter starts up with, we see Fuuko in the, after she met up with Under and everything, she's, reading the manga that was written by the character in the series named Ano-un, which is basically, he wrote it using a pen artifact, which basically means it's got all the knowledge of what's going to happen in this loop of the world, so to speak. Like, basically, like, for an example, like, let's say something in the manga happens, then it, like, happens to the characters in their real world. So, like, an example here is, there's a scene in the manga where the two main characters meet, and it's almost identical to how, Andy and Fuuko met in the first chapter. Or there's, all kinds of, parallels to it. It's a really cool plot device that they have in this, story, that I think really, makes Undead Unluck stand out from other, manga and Shonen Jump. It just got, I just love it the way it is. Yeah, she's, there, chilling in the hideout, looking at the manga, thinking about how it, the characters in the manga relate to her and Andy in the real world. And we got Latla coming up to her, basically, it's like, what's your game plan, What are you going to do to try to kill Spring? You can't do it as you are right now, basically, she's there, she doesn't have any, Andy and everyone else from the Union is separated from her at the moment. They don't know where she's at. She doesn't really have any way to connect to them, to tell them where she's at or anything. Actually, she doesn't even know where she's at because she was, completely blindfolded when she was led to the lair. But anyways, she basically explains, where Andy evolved his abilities, a few arcs ago when they were fighting Autumn. He went inside that book and went through all his memories. He was able to evolve his undead abilities, in ways through that, like experiencing some of his past lives and everything. He was able to, bring out more potential in his abilities, and Fuuko is pretty much here the same. He's like, if I can iron out some of my preconceptions about my abilities, then I'm sure I can, do what I need to do and defeat Spring. It's like Latla says in a scene here. Without your little undead boyfriend around, you're going to have to hit, Spring with strokes of unluck all by yourself. And to get to call on a stroke of unluck big enough to defeat him, you're going to have to fall in love with him, right? Because, that's part of her ability, the more she likes a person, the bigger her strokes of unluck are on that person. So, she really, really likes Andy. In this chapter, we actually find out that she's completely fallen in love with him. So, that's why all the strokes of unluck that hit him are so massive and huge, and that's why they're able to, use that to their advantage in their fights. And they're, then Fuuko brings up to Latla, they're in there all alone. She's like, Miss Latla, what do you think it is to love? She's like, you're far more beautiful than I am. I bet you even have a load of experience with it. And, why, you and Mr. Rip are pretty much a couple yourselves, and Latla speaks up, we're not exactly a couple, he's just a partner to me, more than a friend, less than a lover, that's all, they just, you can tell the way on her, the looks on her face in this chapter, she she has more feelings for him than she lets on. But yeah, you know, that's the situation she says there with her and you know, Rip's situation, how they feel for each other. You know, then, you know, they basically say Rip comes in and hears a little bit of the conversation and cuts him off. You know, he says that they're about to get moving. You know, and basically that's like, how are we going to move? You know, this is a big, giant, you know, fortress or whatever. You know, and we see that they said it was mentioned, like, seen a few arcs back and something like that, but wow, I think we saw it once, but like a giant, like, orca whale comes out of the water where by the like they're in like a coliseum where the you know, base of Under is, and the giant whale just comes up and bites the entire coast off. You know, it's a giant like a fortress whale, sort of, Uma. Basically, that's how they're moving their operations around. You know, they say the orca's name is Kane. You know, back whenever we first was introduced to Rip and Latla was when he was first seen along with them. You know, they're basically, you know, they're on the moves, so, you know, Rip says, it's impossible to track down a hideout that's moving through the sea. I wouldn't count on anyone coming for you. I was like, and then we learn more about the raid on Spring, when that's going to happen. You know, I got word from the boss on the date we'll raid Spring, December 24th. You have until then to evolve your abilities, he says. So Christmas Eve is when the raid on Spring will occur. I wonder what it'll be like, since, you know, they destroyed winter. You know, there's no more winter left in this world, so I wonder what it'll be like in December in the world, you know, in the Undead Unluck universe without, you know, snow or winter or anything like that having, you know, being existing. But, you know, we then cut to Fuuko. She's back in her little room, you know, cell, whatever, you know, reflecting. There's 3 things I need to do. Uncover Mr. Billy's true intentions, find a way to contact the Union and tell them the location of the hideout and the date of the raid, and evolve my Unluck abilities. And she's looking through the manga again, and she, you know, more explicitly states, you know, it's like being swept off your feet, you know, having your chin nudged up like Andy does to me. Almost all of that has come true for me in some way. You know, it's happened in this manga. You know, now that I've stepped away, you know, stepped back from him, it's even sinking in even more. You know, I really am in love with Andy. So, you know, right there, it's brought fully out in the open. Fuuko is legitimately fallen in love with Andy. You know, remember back in the beginnings of the series, you know, she didn't, you know, she was grateful for him for saving her life, but she really didn't love him. She was like, I'll never love you, you perverted, undead idiot. You know, no matter what you do, I'll never love you. But, you know, as things have went on and times have passed and, you know, they've went through all this stuff, you know, you can tell she's in love with him. She's completely, you know, just swept off her feet, head over heels in love with him. So, yeah. It's only been a day since I left. But every time I'm about to face my feelings, glimpses of Andy always pops up in my head. You know, I wonder what he would say. And then just out of nowhere, we hear a muffled voice coming, like a voice coming out from nowhere. Like, oh, you want to know what Andy would say? It's like, where's that voice? You know, well then, leave it to me. And we see a watch falling out of Fuuko's pocket, and it turns out to be the clothes Uma that's always, you know, been traveling with Andy, you know, basically earlier on in the series, like around volume 2, you know, in the second volume that just came out. This chapter's in it. You know, it's there's a chapter where you know, they just joined the Union, and there's this Uma, you know, the Uma clothes, And basically its whole thing is it latches onto the person, it latches onto someone and tries to control them. Basically it turns into the perfect clothes for them, like the outfit that they desire the most in, all the world. And it basically, controls their mind through that, and it latched onto Andy, and it's, I guess Andy has just way too much willpower for it to take over him, and he's like, the clothes guy is like, I'll stick on you, Andy, no matter what. One of these days, I will take over you. You'll see. So, that's been the clothes that Andy's been wearing, which is, pretty convenient for him, since the way he fights, his clothes are always getting destroyed in battle, so he's just able to constantly reform him and everything, reform to keep him clothed, which was a bit of a problem for Andy early on in the series. Been rereading through some of the manga, early chapter, volume 1 and stuff like that, and there was a lot of instances where, Andy would end up buck naked throughout most of his battles because his clothes would just get destroyed because of his fighting style. But, we have the clothes Uma now, basically just keeps constantly rebuilding, remaking his clothes. So, but yeah, he's with Fuuko now, basically, basically Andy sort of slipped him into Fuuko's pocket and is like, geez, that undead guy sure can work an Uma to the freaking bone. It's like, well, what, clothy, why are you here? Fuuko says, like, no clue. I had to come since he put in a request for me. The request, he said if I want to be the clothes that will, befit him the best, the clothes he wants more than anything, then I need to help you out. So basically, now we see that Fuuko has a little bit of a lifeline, maybe back to the Union, got a little partner with her there, and he's shaped like a watch right now, but, maybe, he can turn to any kinds of clothing, so who knows, maybe it's possible we might be able to turn into some kind of protective armor for Fuuko to wear, maybe during the battle with Spring. That might be a possibility. I know there's some sort of weapons you can, sort of wear on you, so maybe he could possibly turn into a weapon of some kind. I don't know, it's going to be pretty neat to see all the things they can do with it. He can do, he's sort of just always been in the background throughout most of the series, because, he just the clothes that Andy wears, pretty much, but, that'll be pretty cool to see how that works out as the art goes on. Basically, end up here, the final scene of the chapter. We got Fuuko and Clothy. Fuuko's, looks like my days of piggybacking on Andy are far from over. But still, he did give me a send-off and let me go on by myself. I've got the courage now. I can't let him down. I swear, I'll do exactly what I have to do. We're gonna find a way to tell Andy the date of the raid on Spring, so see how that comes next chapter, how will she be able to reach out and contact Andy, tell him the date of the raid on Spring. Will she be able to somehow tell him that, they're moving inside the giant orca, the orca Uma, who knows, but, that's the end of the chapter. Sorry if this video seemed a little bit, rushed and everything there. I rushed through a little bit of the chapter. I know, so I was, stumbling over my words a little bit there in places, but, it's really late right now when I'm filming this. It's almost like 2 o'clock in the morning, so, get this all finished up filming and everything, try to get it uploaded. You guys might have noticed, I've been starting to make thumbnails for my older videos to, put them on there, make them look a little bit nicer when you see them on YouTube, so you don't just see, a freeze frame of me and, some sort of, pose, just a random screenshot from the video as a thumbnail. I wanted to try to make actual thumbnails, like maybe taking a panel from the chapter and just like, putting the Undead Unluck logo and the chapter number and everything up there, But yeah, I'm wanting to try to make this channel a little bit better, my whole thing with my upload schedule, I haven't been really sticking to it all that well. I know I said last video or a few videos ago I wanted to try to change it to maybe Monday and Tuesday, but I think for right now I just don't really have an upload schedule. Like, I want to try to go that route with it maybe. Like, I'll try to get chapter reviews out each week, but there's a few things I want to try to do with this channel in the future. I know the Shonen Jump is going on a break. Like, there's the next chapter that's coming out, and then after that everything will be on break for a week. So I was thinking about making just a video, introduction to Undead Unluck, what is Undead Unluck, a video to try to maybe explain the whole world and characters a little bit better to people who haven't read the manga yet, basically just an overview of the first few arcs, just basically an introduction video to the entire series, try to get more people into the series itself. But that's in the future, got a couple weeks to prepare for that, but, yeah, I just wanted to try to get this channel, a little bit bigger, I haven't seemed to get any more new subscribers for a while, but, that's okay. I know I'm a relatively newer YouTube channel, and my videos, even I'll admit, most of the times aren't the best quality in the world, but, I'm wanting to try to get better and better at this, and, even if my channel doesn't explode in popularity, I still sort of like making these videos. It's nice to just sit down and get my thoughts about, get my, one of my favorite mangas in Shonen Jump, period, right now out, I mean, aside from all the classics, like One Piece, Dr. Stone, Jujutsu Kaisen, all that stuff, other than the older stuff that people already know and love, sorta. Undead Unluck is like my #1 favorite, new running series in Shonen Jump, and I really just like to be able to make these videos and talk about it. But anyways, that's enough for my little tangent there at the end. Like and share, subscribe, comment down below what you thought of the video, what you thought of the chapter, just anything down there, maybe ways I can improve the channel. But anyways, this is Brandon from Crimson Crescent Moon Reviews signing out. I'll see you in the next video.